Also, you had this piece where, Elon Musk, who has been somebody who now, even though he was not elected, he was appointed to this position by President Trump, and he was, and he has this unprecedented amount of power as somebody who is also an immigrant, right? But as somebody who's a billionaire, he has this.
He's the right kind of immigrant.
Right. He has this
the white kind of immigrant.
Yeah, the white kind of immigrant, and then the wealthy kind of immigrant, right? So it speaks differently. And again, so he can do all these things, and people will make excuses for him because he's this white wealthy man, and he has this power. But that he came in and fired the head of the FAA, right? The Federal Aviation.
Yeah, that was before he forced him.
Yeah, this is something that he did like a week before. We see now, like all these planes a plane fell out of the sky over Philadelphia, planes are catching fire, all this stuff is happening, but it's like you fired all these heads, how is Elon Musk granted this level of power to then go in and make these decisions? And they said it was supposedly because the FAA fined SpaceX. And so this was something that he was upset about.
We see so many pieces of media about like this happening in fiction that is the fact that it's become a real, like there's cartoon, there's anime, there's like, where you have like this rich billionaire, like Elon Musk is like Lex Luthor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just like coming in and fucking shit up. Yes. It's crazy that like we have proof of why these are terrible things, but people keep believing in them.
Yes.
I don't know.
Again, I mean, you have something to say, Trouble?
Yeah, so I feel like this is associated with a characteristic of white supremacy culture called qualified. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read a little bit about it. It says, this particular characteristic is internalized primarily by middle and owning class white people, formally educated, who are taught by the culture that they are qualified and even duty-bound to fix, save, and set straight the world. Closely aligned with dominant mainstream Christian ideology that teaches a Christian duty to convert the heathen, the savage, the impure. This characteristic is particularly violent both psychically and physically in its determination to ignore and or erase the culture, wisdom, genius, joy of people and communities being saved while seizing their land, labor, architecture, music, food, and other material goods to commodify their profit. And it says, I want to stress that while the intention to fix, save, and set straight is often overt, the deviousness of this characteristic is how strongly white, middle, and owning class educated people can internalize and assume their own inherent qualifications to improve what is in front of them that is broken without acknowledging or seeing their role in breaking it. This internalized assumption becomes an unnamed way of being, a conditioned impulse to help others out of what feels like a benign sense that they know the right way, the best way, with little or no understanding of how limited they really are.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's interesting because it ends up now, and that's what I was kind of saying when I was asking you that question, because we're seeing like literally like Trump gets in office, people in the FAA get fired, planes are falling out of the sky, and it seems like it's a natural...
Dogs and cats getting along.
Yes, but I'm just saying, it seems like it's a natural, like 1 + 1 = 2, but yet because of white supremacy, it's actually, and kind of like because of what Miracle's saying, it's actually like, oh no, look over here, it's actually because of like the thought that it wasn't none of the pilots were black, or right, but the thought that possibly there might be
they have black friends. Right, that's why the plane's crashed.
Play the clip that his and who is this woman? What's her name?
I don't know. Becky Blonde Hair. I don't know. Man.
Carolyn Levitt.
Sure. Okay.
Caroline Levitt. It's funny they had that picture of her, and the way she was standing, the back of it said whitewashing.
Oh, I didn't.
It was kind of fascinating. But play her clip, please.
When you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense.
When do you even see the pilot?
It's Black History Month. I do like when my pilot is black, and they stand there and they welcome me into the airplane. But I also want to point out, amongst all of this foolishness, is you can't just like go into a plane and like fly it.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
There is a flight school. There are tests.
Are you sure?
Yes.
There are tests that you have to pass.
What
right?
if you had Popeye's chicken for?
Listen, Don Julio Popeyes called me. I'm very mad that this is not in Pittsburgh, but be that as it may.
What did I miss?
But be that they have a collab,
Yeah,
but it's not in Pittsburgh.
Don Julio and Popeyes,
because you know we have to be a sponsor place to sell alcohol.
Oh, okay. That's how they was doing the Popeye section thing on Instagram. Oh,
but be that as it may, like I was saying.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're gonna pause.
Yes.
Pause. First of all, black people finding joy in times of despair is not ratchet, right?
Come on, there you go.
Black people coming
that
together,
fried chicken,
coming together, and whether it is Popeyes, a grocery store,
Miracle. Let's call it what it is. That was some bullshit.
That
was some
club,
bullshit.
That is joy and celebration. It's called community and culture.
Yeah,
it's
Yes. I agree with
let
you.
Let me see.
Go ahead.
But again,
now, if I would have said this is the legacy of the freedmen, then there would be an issue, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. I just want to
That's
check
where we're going?
in. I just want to check in with your brain. I just wanted to finish.
My question
Go
to
ahead.
that point is, what's wrong with being ratchet?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm as hood as fuck. I just act civilized, but like celebrating a section of Popeye. Come on. Like,
they were just a little party. People have a party at Chuck E. Cheese. People have because I
Chuck E. Cheese don't exist no more.
Yes, it does. They're actually even bringing back like adult nights because not all
because it's
all
just like
these
a
adults
cesspool.
want to heal their children, their inner childhood.
And if
so now they're having little adult parties at Chuck E. Cheese. But be that as it may,
whiskey company came and put some shit with some poutine. Now you be all happy. And
am I going to get a section because of it?
Tim Hortons and some whatever.
I'm not getting a section at Timmy's. I'm not doing a Timmy's run.
But anyway, these pilots are qualified to be there. It's not just like anyone.
It's not Soul Plane.
Fly.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay.
Hey yo. So I have to be here. So Farouk had to be. What'd you say? What did he say?
That was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
what did he say?
I said, well, those were soul planes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
God damn. So
that's
we were trying to prove that we can have an intelligent conversation.
Exactly. Right. He had to be serious because he was in the seat.
We were trying to get fired.
Yes. Gotcha.
But now you're back.
Now
you know
I'm
us.
We can just introducing the topics. He can just be as crazy as he want to be. I'll say this, Miracle. If I get on a plane and I see a black pilot or I see a Latino or Chicano pilot, right? I know that they had to work like 10 times harder to get to that position than if I see some regular white person, because that's the reality of the country that we live in, that for us to get those positions and to excel, we have to go above and beyond just a regular thing. So oftentimes if you see a black person, it's like, oh, this is somebody that's actually more qualified because of what we have to go through just to get in those seats in that position.
So I have a message for the audience, right? If you are a Trumper, I hope Trumpers watch this show.
Oh, they do.
Yes,
they do. Even if you're just someone who listens to the rhetoric that Trump spews out, right?
Yes.
I want you to be careful in not accepting what he says to be like the end all be all and the overarching truth of the matter, right? Because here we are looking at a situation where innocent people have lost their lives because of a mistake that we're unaware of, because what we keep hearing from Trump is that the fault is DEI.
Yes.
When there could be a deeper reason, there could be other things at fault that cause these things to happen.
Right.
And him telling us that it's DEI is just pushing his narrative. And I hope that you can see that. And I hope that you question it further.
And this is the deep, well, again, and he took it a step further he just appointed a guy named Darren Beatty, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Who was fired from his first administration. And the reason he was fired because he attended a white nationalist conference. Like, not only so he's like fully embraced as a white nationalist, and he tweeted out in October.
Oh yeah, this is crazy.
Competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work.
Wow.
I mean, they were for a long time, and look where that got you.
Hey,
unfortunately,
we're right back at this qualified.
But again, he said, unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men.
He essentially
they're not
said,
competent though. That's
right,
the issue.
Yeah.